Hello guys, and welcome to the second part of this grinding speed for every class project. Now, right from the beginning of the video, the first thing that I want to say is that this project is still going to be ongoing because I didn't really get enough data to compare every class to each other. When I made the first video almost a week ago, I said that I will end the data collection on Wednesday and then release the final video for Friday, but I didn't really estimate properly how much time it would take me to get enough data from people, so that's why I'm saying that this project is still going to be ongoing, because mainly I really don't have enough data to make any proper comparisons between classes. Also, I did get different data from different levels, so I really cannot compare stuff like a level 58 to a level 60, because it just wouldn't be fair. So what I want to achieve with this video is to basically make a recap of all of the requirements by presenting the data that I got on my own wizard, because I did get some data that didn't have all of the experience buffs added, or some people grinded the wrong rotation and so on. So I just want to go over again the requirements just to make sure that the next data that I get is going to be correct. Also, since the first video, I did learn that I'm not going to get as much data as I would want to, so I made an Excel file and I finally know exactly how to compare the classes to each other. So I'm going to change a little bit the requirements, as in, for example, one of them is that the test of the 160 attack power is much more valuable than the one with the maximum gear score. So that's one of them, and I'm going to go through the rest on the rest of the video. So to start talking about something, the first topic would be the actual data. As I said in the beginning of the video, I really didn't get enough to make a proper comparison between each class, and that's mainly the problem on my part, because when I recorded this video almost a week ago, I did it one day before packing and leaving, so I was expecting the data to just come from the video itself as the only source of seeing this test. And what I probably should have done was to make a Reddit post and ask in my guild, and ask them to ask other friends to ask in their guild, and so on. So I really didn't spread the news or the information about this test, and that's probably the main reason why I didn't get enough data. To correct that, what I would want out of this video is to basically get you guys to maybe ask in your own guilds that if someone is interested to participate in these tests, they are still able to do so, because this is still going to be ongoing for as long as it has to, until I get enough data to at least complete the entire class data for the 160 attack power. So I'm going to show on the screen soon enough the Excel, and you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Basically, as one of the changes on the previous video, I said that you can test the two areas with either 160 attack power or your maximum gear that you have, so as in your best armor. And I kind of said that the one with the maximum gear potential is the more valuable one. And now, after making this Excel file, I kind of realized that I need to make attack power tiers, because it's not really possible, for example, to compare someone with 220 attack power to someone with only 180. So that's why I basically made tiers, as in 160, 180, 200 and so on, to get a better comparison between the classes. So for example, if someone with 200 attack power grinds, then I'm only going to be comparing that data with another class that has the similar attack power level. And that's why I'm saying that the base data of 160 or about 160 attack power is the most important one, because that's the value that most people can achieve, and it is the one that I currently have the most data on, because it is or it was the base value on the previous test as well. So for the next video that I'm going to make, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be making another one, I would want to have this 160 tier as the base value for this entire test, and hopefully completed by then. Another thing that has changed since the previous video is the fact that I asked for screenshots of your add-ons to see if you had monster damage or not, and also of your gear to see if you had boss gear, if you had a Kutum offhand or if you didn't, and what gems you had to see what hidden attack power you had or something like that. And now I kind of realized that if I do take into consideration all of that, then it's kind of impossible to compare anything, because some people have monster damage, others don't, some use Kutum offhand, some don't use the Kutum offhand. So what I decided to do from now on, if we take a look at this Excel file, is to basically add all of the experience values, but I'm also going to add on top of those a small comment or a note on each of the values saying if that person had a Kutum offhand, or if he had monster damage, or if he didn't, and so on. So basically you can compare every value to each other, even if they didn't or if they did have those things, but you can at least see them on notes. This way I can compare people who had monster damage to those who didn't, and still see who had it on and who didn't. So it's really a small change, but just know that the data on this table may include people who had monster damage and a Kutum offhand, and I'm going to compare them to those who didn't have a Kutum offhand and no monster damage. So the values may fluctuate a little bit, as in, for example, some people may be faster than others. But I'm going to maybe change this again in the future if I get enough data, because from what you can see right now the table is pretty empty because I really didn't get enough data. For some classes I really didn't get anything, so it's still a work in progress. Now before I end the video, there's only 2 more things that I want to talk about. One of them is my wizard data, and the second one is how to get this data and where to send it. So for the second part, basically if you didn't see my previous video yet, then in that video I'm explaining exactly how to get the data, what are the requirements, and what spots you should be grinding, and also where to send it. So I'm going to link in the description exactly when that part starts, so you can watch it on that video, because I don't want to go through that thing again. And if you don't know where to send it and you have the data already, then basically I'm going to link again in my video description the Discord server, and you can just make an archive out of all of the files and send them to my Discord server. And once they get there, I'm going to go through the data, see if something is missing, and then add it on the Excel file. Now one small thing that I want to point out at this is that on the current setup of this Excel file that I have, basically how I built it is that I only take one data for a certain level of the class. So for example, if you are a level 59 sorcerer, I already have the data for 160 attack power on that. So if you are a level 59 sorcerer, then if you send me the data for 160 attack power, I'm just going to make an average out of your data and the one that I already have, and then modify that. So basically there's only one spot for a level 59 with 160 attack power. So if possible, try to use different attack power values, like for example 180, where I don't have any values yet. So there's that. Basically, to complete the chart as soon as possible, it's best to try to grind the levels and the attack power values where there's no data yet. And this file is accessible to everyone, so you can view it whenever you want. And now to quickly go through my wizard data and also how to get this data. As I said, the previous video is linked in the description if you want to see the entire thing, but if you already saw that and you want a reminder, basically try to grind on daytime, grind as fast as you possibly can, and don't loot anything from the ground manually. And take a screenshot of the starting point and ending point of the test, and also try to use a separate stopwatch to grind the exact amount of times in minutes. And once you finish that, just test the rotation. After you of course learn the rotation, test it for 160 attack power, which is the most important one, and then the second one for a different attack power tier, or just your maximum gear that you have. And once you finish testing these areas, take a screenshot of your add-ons and of course of your gear, and make a file, send them to my Discord server and so on. So with that out of the way, let's see what I got on my wizard. On my wizard I tested both bandits and Sausons on both 160 attack power and my maximum gear, which is 218 with a Kutum offhand. And at the Sausons, to my surprise, the difference in experience was actually 0 or almost 0. So basically by dropping from my maximum gear to only 160 without a Kutum offhand, I still was able to one-shot every monster. So the experience as a result was almost the same, or if not exactly the same. So on the Sausons area, my experience values should be exactly the same for every attack power that I would use. And on the bandit side, this one actually changed a little, but to my surprise, one thing that I learned from this video is that a level 60 wizard grinds much faster than a level 58 or a level 59, and that's the main reason why I say that I'm not going to convert any values on that Excel file. Because basically if I convert a level 60 to a level 58, then that level 58 data will be much higher than an actual level 58 would be able to grind. Because on my level 60 wizard now, I can one-shot the monsters with every AoE that I use. So as a result, I can use one AoE, move to the next group and so on, and grind much faster, because previously on level 59 I wasn't able to do that. So here at the bandits this is noticeable, because I tested this rotation once at level 58, and I will have somewhere on the screen that video to see it, and now I tested the same rotation again on my wizard with almost the same gear at level 60, and the experience was actually much higher, because if I convert it all the way down to 58, then it was about 0.029% per minute. So the difference is quite high if I take a level 60 and I convert it down, just purely because once you get to level 60 you have all of the flows, and it allows you to, as a wizard at least, one-shot the monsters and move to the next group faster than a level 58 would be able to, because at 58 you just cannot one-shot the monsters. Your AoEs just don't do enough damage. So I'm not going to get too much into the details of that, because I would make the video way too long. So at this point I want to say that I hope this video explained some of the differences from the first one, and I basically hope this test will turn out okay, and that I'm going to get much more data. As I said, right now I really don't have enough. So thanks for watching the video, and I will see you guys next time.